there's never been a by-election in Kenya that is as expensive as what you're seeing in Mbeere North. Number one, the governor wa Embu anapigwa milioni
Kereteri munasemaje? Kereteri munasemaje? Hapa ni WANTAM. Hapa ni WANTAM. Harambee! Wewe Ruto, wewe Kasongo, wewe Kaongo, wewe Zakayo, wewe mtu ya kutenga, wewe mwizi, wewe muuaji. Kasongo aende asiende? Kasongo aende asiende? Kasongo asonge asisonge? Atembe asitembee?
Of Mbeere North, we are electing learners to go to parliament to continue advocating for more roads, more electricity, more water, so that the people of Mbeere North can be like the rest of Kenya. Na waziri Ruto alikuwa ameanza vizuri, Mungu akamjalia sasa amekuwa waziri. We need another member of parliament, na sisi tukipima na darubini, ule mtu ambaye atatutetea vilivyo ni mheshimiwa Leonard wa Mudende. Kweli si kweli? Kweli si kweli? Kweli si kweli?
Welcome back to the Hopkins Experience, a channel that gives you unbiased political analysis and honest personal opinions. On this video today, we are going to look at Mbeere North by-elections. Of course, we are in the by-elections period. Most of the by-elections in the country are being held on 27th of this month. That is less than 10 days away. Less than 10 days away. And one of the most interesting contests is the Mbeere North contest. Mbeere North parliamentary Mbeere North constituency seat was left vacant after Geoffrey Ruku was appointed as a CS in the broad-based government, in the Ruto government. So when he was appointed to that position, the seat remained vacant. So it was announced that the by-elections will be held on 27th of November 2025, and this is one of the most interesting by-elections. The Mbeere North by-election, the Malava by-election, the Baringo seat, and then there is the Banisa by-elections. These are the by-elections that are meant to shape the politics as we go into 2027. That's why you can see there is so much investment. There's heavy investment in these by-elections. There's so heavy investments. You can see helicopters moving in. You can see a whole government campaigning for one candidate. We can see the United Opposition also pitching tent in these by-elections. So we'll be keeping an eye on the by-elections as they come, and we will also be analyzing these by-elections. Of course, we've already analyzed the Malava seat, though we'll do other videos as we approach the by-election date. We'll do more videos on these by-elections. So if you like this kind of content, I would urge you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Hopkins Experience, and also like the videos and also comment if you have any divergent opinion or if you want to agree with me. Now, as you can see, the Mbeere North constituency seat, or the member of National Assembly seat, is being contested by around 9 candidates, but there are 2 front runners, or let's say 3 front runners in this race. One of them being Leonard Muriuki Mutende and Newton Karish. Leonard is a UDA candidate, and then Newton Karish is a DP candidate. DP is one of the parties among the united opposition parties. Yeah. So we've seen heavy traffic of politicians going into Mbeere to campaign for their candidates. And one of the claims that we saw yesterday from Anthony Kibagendi, was that president is using at least 5 million on on the woman rep, on the governor, the candidate, and some of and there's one guy he mentioned. It's getting a sum that amount to 5 million per day to convince voters to vote for them. It's a lot of money to invest in such a small post, because as we know, a member of parliament in 5 years, he can only get up to 80 something million shillings. But if you're using 5 million per day, in 10 days you end up using around 50 million. But now I want you to factor this, that we only have 1 year, one year, at most 2 years, but it's not 2 years, 1 and around 7 months to the next election. If you're using more than 50 million, you're using more than 100 million, there's no return on investments. It means that the person is using more money than the money that he will get as compensation, the money that he'll get as a salary from the government, as serving as a member of parliament. But that does not stop them. We've seen a lot of support coming from government, coming from opposition. They are all spending. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. All of them are spending huge money on this seat. So it tells you that there's so much interest, there's so much at stake for both the president and the opposition. So you may ask, why is the president spending so much money and time and resources in the Mbeere North seat? It is a litmus test. Mbeere North seat is a litmus test, especially to Mount Kenya. There have been arguments and analysis that president has a dwindling support, or the support in Mount Kenya for the president is close to zero. And this seat, even if it is from the eastern side of Mount Kenya, the president would want to prove that he has more influence than people are saying. That's why you see he's spending that much money to his UDA candidate. You've seen to an extent, the UDA party is sending its deputy president to camp in Mbeere North to ensure that that city is delivered for UDA. At the same time, the governor of Embu, Cecil Mbarire, is also being pushed by Ruto and the government to ensure that this seat is delivered to Ruto. If Ruto wins this seat, or if Leonard Muriuki, the UDA candidate, wins this seat, is advantageous to Ruto. It gives him a little bit of life, that there are people who still believe in him. It will give him a clear indication that in 2027 he can get some votes in Mount Kenya. And he has also been dwindling carrots at the voters by the fact that he has taken CS Ruku, has taken Ruku from MP to CS. It means he wants to include the region, the eastern side of Mount Kenya, into the government, and to create a perception that Mount Kenya East is in government. Yeah. And all this for Ruto, why Ruto is investing heavily, he wants to see if he can divide the mountain. One of the biggest challenges that he has is that Mount Kenya is united in their votes. They vote as a unit. So these heavy investments are investments to divide the mountain, to see if they can create the east versus west debate or divide in Mount Kenya. So if he wins, if the UDA candidate wins, it gives Ruto a pathway to divide Mount Kenya. But if he loses this seat, then it will be one of the heaviest statement or the most critical statement that the people of Mbeere will be giving to the president, telling him that they no longer want to work with him. They feel wasted and cheated, and it will be worse if they move to the DP candidate, who is Newton Karish. And Newton Karish has drawn a lot of support from Gachagua, from Justin Muturi, from this camp that is the Mount Kenya to the Mount Kenya WANTAM movement. There's the Mount Kenya WANTAM movement that is being led by Gachagua. They have been leading attacks after attacks after attacks, telling people how joining the government is bad. Telling people how voting for Leonard, the UDA candidate, is bad for the 2027 politics. They're not talking about development in Mbeere. They're only talking about 2027. So we're not talking about who will bring development in Mbeere. No, we're talking about how will these two candidates, the UDA candidate and the DP candidate, how will they shape the 2027 elections? And as Gachagua has declared that the 27th of November, this month, is the burial of UDA in Mount Kenya. His mission is to make sure that Mount Kenya is buried UDA is buried completely in Mount Kenya, so that they don't get any votes in that place. And is determined because he has been camping on those areas, doing door-to-door campaigning even more than Karish himself. So for Gachagua is a do or die contest, and he has also invested heavily his time, his money, his support, his influence, bringing people all the way and converging all the Mount Kenya MPs to go camp in Mbeere North, which is the eastern side of Mount Kenya. So for these two camps, the opposition and the government side, they have a lot of things to take. They have a lot of stakes in the Mbeere North contest. And if you ask me, this Mbeere North is going to set a stage for 2027 contests. And there are going to be so much casualties. Whoever wins, if Leonard Morioki wins, it will send a strong statement to Mount Kenya and Kenya at large, because we've all been saying that we don't want anything to do with Ruto. We don't want UDA candidates. We don't want UDA party infiltrating or coming back into power. So one of the largest contests we're going to have is this contest to see whether Kenyans are actually angry at the president, and also to Mount Kenya to see if Mount Kenya is converging or coming together under Rigiji, depending on how they vote, depending on the outcome of 27th of this month, of which is one of those by-elections I have really invested my time in. I'm checking on them every day, the happenings, the developments, or what is going over there. So even for the viewers, even for the voters and other Kenyans, these by-elections will tell you the behavior of voters. We are not looking at all UDA and opposition or what only. We also look at the pattern of voters. How gullible are the voters? Have the voters changed their patterns? Have the voters woken up to the realities of life, realities of economy, realities of the political parties? So it's going to be a very huge statement, not only for the parties, not only for Gachagua, not only for Ruto, but also for Kenyans, even for us analysts who are analyzing this politics, the way we are looking at it, it is different from the way the masses are looking at it. Yeah, we are looking at it from a textbook point. Yeah, not to the ground point. The textbook point: if you do this, what will happen to this and this? But the reality, or when the wheel hits when the rubber hits the road, or the rubber meets the road, is when the election is carried. So that's why the Mbeere North is Mbeere North, Malava, and Baringo, and all other seats, these other seats in the by-elections are being closely monitored by everyone in the country. Being the fact that Kenya is a highly political country, we love politics so much. So there's a huge investment in time, huge investment in money, huge investment from all camps to see what will happen in Mbeere. And if you ask my prediction for Mbeere, this is a wild prediction, is that Newton Karish is going to win. That's what I see. And Newton Karish is going to win because of one thing: the dwindling support of the president, the dwindling support of the broad-based government, the dwindling support, the mismanagement of the economy, the current political situation where we are now, what people want, how people feel about the president, the government, is going to play a key role in taking Ruto out. Yeah, because I don't see a path, because the attacks on Ruto has been too much. Ruto, when I mean Ruto is not the person. Ruto is the government, Kindiki, all those. So when I say Ruto, that's what I mean. Yeah. So Ruto has been in panic mode. He has set there a huge delegation of people to campaign for that seat. So we'll see how that will turn out. We'll be here. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm a prophet. I've just made a bet that Newton will win. I'm not really sure. But we'll sit down and just analyze the two of them without much noise to see what they actually bring, if they have any chances. But if you ask me, from what I've seen, from what I've watched online, I've not been in Mbeere myself. Online, I can tell you that Newton Karish has a better chance of winning. And if the polls by Kabagendi are anything to go by, the polls show that Newton Karish is 13% ahead of his competitor. So we will be looking at it. We'll see how this polls translate into real votes come 27th of this month. We've come to the end of the analysis for today. I wish we meet again in the next video. If you really love this video, do the necessary like, share, and subscribe. And hope to see you in the next video.